Hi, I'm Star O'Hara, and I want to talk for a few minutes about what a real world dystopia is and how to know if you're in one. Almost all dystopias in the real world share a few features. One of them is the first one is usually confusion, a mass state of confusion about what is true and what is not true. And the confusion is usually mingled with a mass state of fear, so that once the authority presents a solution or presents the truth, right, then and a solution for whatever the threat is that people fear, people will grab onto it readily because being confused about it is much scarier than coexisting with a threat and knowing what to do, even if that thing that you know to do is completely based in falsehood. So you've got confusion leading to delusion, supported by massive amounts of propaganda. Eventually, this will usually lead to othering of dissenters and possibly punishment of dissenters or isolation/shunning of dissenters, basically pushing them out of society in some way. There will always be a power structure at the core of the dystopia that seeks to fundamentally alter the way that human beings live, work, interact, and even think. The power structure seeks to do this on a permanent basis, forever. And there will always be a kind of a package of selling points that they use to try and convince people or to propagandize people into believing that this is the way to go. The selling points will always be that if we do what these authorities say, then a great burden will be alleviated from society. It might be, economic destruction is going to be resolved, or something like peace. We're going to end war and conflict between nations forever, or we're going to end poverty, and we're going to bring about a new permanent age of equality and or it could be prosperity, whatever. They're going to use these selling points to bring about the fundamental changes that they want to impose upon humanity. The changes could be as extreme as doing away with the family unit. It could be doing away with churches, or changing the way that people interact in the economy. It could be any number of things, and it's usually an amalgamation of things. But essentially, they want to fundamentally destroy the way that we've done things forever and usher in a new way of doing things, a new way of being human. And so, I don't know if any of this sounds familiar to you guys. But anyway, I was thinking about this a lot over the past few years, about how dystopia kind of enters and takes hold of a populace, whether it's like a given geographical region or worldwide, and how difficult, if it is worldwide, how difficult and almost a futile proposition it is to fight that, to make it stop, to make it go away as dissenters, because the grip is so strong. The grip of delusion and fear is so strong among the supporters, the believers of the dystopia, of the dystopian proposition. And the tendency to, push out any dissenting views is so strong, right? And at the same time, the authorities have so much power that there comes a point where, you're chugging along and you're like, well, maybe if we do the right messaging, everybody will get it. Maybe, we just have to We just have to say it right and keep drilling it in over and over and over and over. And then we can stop this in its tracks and go back to the way things were and start to, improve. But then there comes a point where it's gone so far that you realize that's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Some things you have to go through them to get out of them. And there's no way around. You can't go over, you can't go under, you can't escape it. It just is what it is. And you have to figure out a way to outlast and withstand it. So thinking about all of those things, I wrote a little book called How to Survive Dystopia with Your Humanity Intact. And see, there's my name, Star O'Hara, author. This book is basically the culmination of the past 2 or 3 years of my thinking on this subject. And even more than that, a lifetime of studying dystopian fiction and fiction in general, the hero's journey. And it occurred to me, kind of tracing all of those threads back together, that there is a way. There is a way. It's not hopeless. The way is for each of us within ourselves to take the first step on the hero's journey. Because here's the thing about story, right? The protagonist in a story always has some kind of flaws or shortcomings that they have to conquer before they can win the battle with the villain of the story. And the reason why story works this way is because life works this way. And story is trying to tell us something about life. So I kind of translated that into our real world dystopia and seeing each of us as protagonists in this story. So the book starts out with a taxonomy of what dystopia is and what our current dystopia looks like and what it might mean for the future. And then the second part deals with the principles that are essential for the dystopian survivor and virtues that are born out of those principles that provide us with kind of a subtle armor, a psychological protection against these dystopian forces, these dystopian influences in society that we're going to come into contact with on a regular basis. How to stay sane and productive and moving forward amidst all of that. And then the third part of the book is logistics. It talks about things like how to grow your own food, why you might want to think about raising some small meat animals in your backyard or on your apartment balcony if possible, how dystopian economies work, and what you might do to help yourself kind of navigate the dystopian economy, and the essential, crucial need for community in any dystopia. If you're in the midst of it, you're going to need friends, allies, and mentors, and people on your hero's journey to help you take the next step and to tell you where you're going wrong and to encourage you and to work together. And so I encourage you to check out the book, How to Survive Dystopia with Your Humanity Intact. It's available on Amazon as both a paperback and a Kindle ebook. And it's also available on virtually all ebook platforms. And I'll put all of the links below in the description. And also, if you want to check out my other work, my essays, and some of my dystopian fiction, you can go and subscribe to my Substack at starohara.substack.com. Thank you for listening, and I hope that you will take the first step on the hero's journey and be not afraid.